everybody, this is the Vikstrand. The movie of today is called Black Fire, I think is in its international title. When I started watching this movie, I had no idea what this movie was going to be about. I continued to watch this movie and I still was kind of puzzled. What the hell am I watching? And it just went on and on and on. This movie just kept getting weirder and weirder and more uninteresting. It was like if a Dashiell Hammett story was directed by David Lynch, but not in a good way. So this movie just went on and on and on. And in the end of this movie, when they started doing body slams through tables and suplexes and back suplexes and stuff like that, it felt like I was watching one of these cinematic matches from 2020 when WWE went all insane and stuff. So this movie is not very good, and it's called Black Fire. So a strange man checked into this hotel in an undisclosed location that could be Mexico or South America or Spain or something like that. They speak Spanish anyway. So he's looking for somebody. We don't know who, we don't know why, and stuff like that. This entire hotel seems to be populated by weird things like midgets and vampires and zombies or whatever it is. And a guy who is obsessed with a book called Black Fire. And then the movie just keeps getting weirder and weirder, and I couldn't really get into it. The thing is that this is a movie that potentially could have had, interesting parts to it, and the acting is, however, pretty bad, and the cinematography looks terrible. And on top of that thing, this movie just keeps getting stranger and stranger, and I keep understanding less and less what it was all about. I guess there is some kind of story here that I think could have worked, but I was just too wrapped up in trying to figure out what was going on and what was going to happen next, and I couldn't figure it out ever. Black Fire is one of these weird movies that just exists and for some reason has got distribution through Netflix. I wouldn't, get a subscription of Netflix just to watch this hokey bullshit. There are many other movies that you could watch there, but this is just one of these movies where I got so disinterested with the whole thing that I couldn't get into anything, despite there probably is a good story that gets sort of explained but I liked the fights in the end at the bordello or whatever it was, even though it went kind of hokey when they started doing wrestling moves on tables nevertheless. Why are they always angry at tables in the WWE? Anyway, should you watch this movie? No, I don't think so. I think Black Fire is one of these artistic movies that gets, some attention just because they are from a certain, place and speaking with a certain language, because otherwise this movie is really, really bad, you guys. A badly told story in an ugly looking movie. And the search for a missing sister should be more clear than this one is. The story feels incomplete and feels like they're switching, between ideas during filming. And I also think that this movie is really, really boring with a terribly boring soundtrack. Even though this movie only clocks in at 81 minutes, it still feels like you have wasted almost the entire time on nonsense before settling on, the searching for your sister kind of thing kicks in. Bad acting, very confusing, and a total lack of logic makes this movie completely missable. I give this movie 13 points. There are elements of a good story in this movie, but they are skipped for the purpose of not really doing anything. This movie is just very boring. It's a chore to get through. It's a sluggish affair, and I never want to see it again. There are elements of this movie that could have worked if, you could have reworked the entire thing and, made a movie that made sense and made this into a more clear, coherent mystery / revenge tale, but they kind of decided not to do that. I'm not exactly sure what they originally wanted to do, but I don't think they actually did it. The fight in the end is one of very few things I actually found to be entertaining, but then you had all this wrestling bullshit that made it even hokier and even more stupid. So I'll see you next time from so and so reviewing such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.